What's up, guys? It's Captain Spandex, and I just watched the BlizzCon 2021 event, day one, as well as the Overwatch 2 event, which I'm going to put at the end of this because there's a lot to digest, and I'm a massive Overwatch fan, so that is exciting. But let's just quickly, this is a long one between Overwatch, separate one, and BlizzCon. It was like 2 hours, so I'm going to give you just quick hits and try to move quickly. So yeah, BlizzCon. Never been a huge Blizzard fan necessarily. You know, I love Overwatch. Diablo's a great series. Hearthstone and WoW I enjoyed a bit, but let's just see what we got here. I want to look at this. So I took a lot of notes here because I love gaming news. I love the industry. I play all kinds of games. So okay, before the show, you had Hodor spinning records. He moonlights as a DJ actually, so you know you had that. Was kind of cool. Espresso. Then we had a montage, which is very typical of the community and games and stuff like that. Speaking, it's typical, but Blizzard has a really strong community, so it's kind of nice. Okay. Then we had some talking by their president, which for the most part, the talking overall, especially by him, is pretty dry, pretty boring. I mean, that typically happens, but Alright, first real news. Blizzard Classic Collection. They talked about this Classic Collection, which is coming to consoles as well. I don't think they mentioned Switch, but hopefully it'll come on there, where you have The Lost Vikings, you have Rock and Roll Racing, and you have Blackthorn. Now, these games I loved as a kid, and I know at least 2 out of 3 of them hold up, because I played Lost Vikings, which is my favorite of the 3 by far. I played that recently, like a couple years ago, and Blackthorn. Those games super hold up, amazing games, and Rock and Roll Racing, I bet that holds up too. Great soundtrack, incredible soundtrack. So that's kind of cool as a collection there. And then they had the typical additions that you normally would have in these collections. You had save states, you have a rewind mechanic, you could change it to like different ratios. They did add 13 different languages, they said, which is kind of cool. And yeah. Collection. I don't think they announced the price or release date. I'm not really sure. The people, by the way, who I watch people streaming this archive of it, and man, they just would not stop talking. So I shouldn't have watched it that way, but it is what it is. So next up, they showed World of Warcraft. Let me get my notes here. Sorry about this. Okay. World of Warcraft, it's called Chains of Domination. It's additional. It's not a new expansion. It's additional content for Shadowlands, because Shadowlands just came out pretty recently. So it's extra content for that. They showed a CGI trailer, basically no gameplay. I don't know. I haven't really played much of WoW since vanilla. I'm very professional. I drink espresso while I do this. So I don't know. I've never been super huge on WoW. I always liked Ultima Online. That was my favorite MMO. I'm kind of reviewing this show called BlizzCon Line. Get it? From a perspective of like a medium fan, because I feel like there's a lot of people who are like really either like hardcore Blizzard fan, or you just really don't play any of their games. So I'm kind of in the middle. World of Warcraft, not really my thing. Let me know if you guys are excited about that. Chains of Domination. Speaking of World of Warcraft, they then moved on to World of Warcraft Classic Burning Crusade expansion, which kind of surprised me because I thought they would not be doing any expansions for the Classic thing. But that's kind of cool. I will say, WoW Classic is the first time in like a decade plus where I actually kind of considered playing WoW again. I like the more hardcore nature of MMOs. That's why I love Ultima Online. So I was tempted. Now, I know they've had vanilla servers unofficially for a while before that, but yeah, I was kind of tempted. I'm not going to play it, but that seems cool. I've heard a lot of good things about Burning Crusade back in the day, so I think that's a good expansion for them. So that's kind of cool, surprising. So a decent start to the show between those things. Then they went to Hearthstone. They went on a long time for this. It was pretty dry. I do like Hearthstone, but I don't really play it much anymore because I don't like the way the meta works. It's like every match I feel like I'm playing the same build, the same few builds. But they showed a few new cards. They kind of trickled it out. So new cards in Hearthstone, there you go. Yeah, if they put a new single player campaign in there, I might play it because I do like the single player stuff in it. All right, next up is Diablo Mobile. You guys have phones, right? Sorry. It's the internet. I'm legally obligated to have at least one snarky comment. Okay, it's not Diablo Mobile, it's Diablo 4. Yay! This is definitely the biggest one I'm most excited about for this BlizzCon Online. Overwatch 2, we'll talk about later. That wasn't part of the event. But there's a lot of stuff on Overwatch 2, guys. So we will talk about it. You can skip ahead if you want. So Diablo 4, we've already seen gameplay in the past, so it's not that much new. They did show a new character. It is a rogue class. She had like two bladed weapons, and she was like real quick, like stabbing them in the knees and stuff like that. And there was this whole thing where she would like cut off ears. And they even hinted at the idea that the ears is going to actually be a mechanic, not just part of the CGI thing. So my guess is that, like, you know, you get the ears and it makes you stronger as you kill people. I don't know, but that's kind of cool to get the rogue class. I'm more of a sorcerer build, but hey, kind of cool. Oh yeah, it seemed like she's very quick. She had a bow and arrow. She can like rain down hell from above. And didn't seem like there's a release date on that as well. Then they went to something that was actually a big surprise. Diablo 2 Remaster. We live in the age of remasters these last like 5 years or so why not, right? Diablo 2 Remaster, and it looks pretty cool. I will say that if I were to go back to Diablo 2, which I love the Diablo games back in the day, I still love the series. I almost feel like if I'm gonna go back, I'd rather just have the original art, because original art still kind of holds up pretty well, but hopefully in the game they'll have a way to like switch back and forth. I don't know if they will, but hopefully. But either way, I may actually play that just to see the new art and stuff, and to have a walk down memory lane. Yeah, and again, I couldn't hear a lot of details because they wouldn't shut up while they were giving it out, but it looked cool. Yeah. On consoles, oh, cross progression, right? So cross progression, 2021. They didn't give an exact date. They said 2021. That'll probably be fourth quarter, and you can sign up for alpha right now. So that may, I think that may even get pushed back. We'll see. We'll see. And yeah, so then that's pretty much it. They ended with lots of talking. You know, it was very dry and everything. I'll get into the review after I talk about Overwatch. But yeah, they ended with lots of talking. And then randomly Metallica starts playing live in like looks like a garage or something. You know, I'm sure on purpose. But they played For Whom the Bell Tolls, which is pretty cool. And actually they sounded pretty goddamn good. I will say that. You know, and oh, and Lars, he was still making those stupid faces while drumming, even when he's just like standing up, hitting the cymbal, you know, at the end of a song, he's still like really into it. So you can always rely. Some things, you know, life keeps changing, but you can always rely on Lars Ulrich to look like a doofus. Much respect to Metallica, but, you know. Okay. So we moved pretty quick about that. Yeah. Okay. Overwatch 2. It's a separate event, which first I was kind of bummed about, but I understand why. They went in a very deep dive on Overwatch 2, and they were pretty candid, pretty honest, pretty open, because I will say I'm a massive Overwatch fan. It is my favorite multiplayer game ever. It's in my top 10 games of all time, but I have not been that excited for Overwatch 2 because the dearth of stuff we've seen some stuff like push mode, we've seen a little bit of PvE, on Game Informer's exclusive stuff. It didn't seem like it had a reason to justify itself. So I have always said that I think there's like a 30% chance they would cancel it and just dump all that stuff into Overwatch 1. I may move that down to now 15% chance because they showed a lot. Okay, let's talk about it. First, they talked about a new PvP map, Rome, which looked pretty cool. They said that the architecture that's been destroyed over the years, they actually rebuilt it. Looked really nice, looked like a lot of verticality at the Coliseum and all of that. They showed a New York City map, which is super cool because I'm from the area, and that's awesome. And it's about time. And it's like 1920s kind of Art Deco style, which I think is really cool. I think I would have loved either that or like a futuristic one, but I think that works really well. Yeah, very stylized. So New York City, Rome. They then showed some gameplay. They've been kind of dispersing gameplay throughout the whole thing. They talked about some meta changes. They emphasized, this is interesting, they emphasized tank changes, tank role changes, specifically Reinhardt, which I am a Mercy Reinhardt Lucio main with some Zarya and Junkrats sprinkled in. Interesting stuff. They said that they're thinking about making Reinhardt be able to cancel his charge. And, this is big, 2 fire strikes, which is crazy. And that's awesome because they said they want these tanks to be more aggressive, to be more feared in a battlefield, to basically have more damage. I'm all about that. But Kaplan did say multiple times throughout the event that there's a possibility that none of these changes will ship with Overwatch 2. This game ain't coming out for a while, folks, and they even said before the event that don't expect it this year, okay? So if they even do release Overwatch 2, like, we are in the early stages, even still after they showed footage like what, a year ago of new stuff, but I'm still excited, especially with the Reinhardt stuff. So they talked about audio and animation additions, and by the way, I really love the deep dive they gave on this. They showed people shooting like weaponry and like their audio recording it. They showed like animations in sort of a dev testing situation, like that's just like white square. I don't know, I love that stuff, especially with a company like Blizzard. They don't open up a lot about stuff. I mean, we still don't know anything about Titan, which was what Overwatch was going to be before it was scrapped. Which, by the way, speaking of scrapped stuff, like I said, Kaplan may scrap all of this. They really might, and they really might cancel Overwatch 2 because Blizzard is known to do that. Like, Titan they worked on forever, and they just scrapped most of it, and now that's what became Overwatch. It was going to be like an MMO. So, they're not a company necessarily that will just release something because they spend a lot of time, money on it, and they're like, you know what, just put it out there. I mean, Warcraft Reforged, I think that was more just an issue of making terrible decisions than that, but we won't talk about that right now. Okay. New character. They talked about one new character, Sojourn. And it's funny because I noticed that new character before they even talked about it in quick hits. But, okay, she's female, it appears. Her gun kind of looked like Soldier. It had a rapid fire action. The ammo counter on the gun had like 30-something, 33, counting down. Her ammo ability icons seem to imply certain things. Speed. It almost looked like she has an attack where she can jump on you and hurt you, but I couldn't tell. Also, one of her abilities almost looked like her bullets were bouncing, which that seems really cool. I don't know if I'm just not seeing it right because it happened so quick, but that would be a pretty cool ability, like to have bullets bounce like that as an ability. I hope they do that. Okay, but one thing we definitely know, because they talked about it, is she has a railgun charge. So she has auto fire, but one of her abilities, she can charge it like a railgun. Like, so she almost plays like a dual, it seems, DPS speedy character mixed with like a sniper, which is kind of interesting. I'm not really a DPS player, especially not a sniper player, but I am curious. You know, perhaps a speedy soldier mixed with a snipey widow could be cool. Okay. Espresso. Let's see what else I took notes here. Kaplan said that maybe he was throwing out a lot of stuff. He said maybe Overwatch 2 is purely a single player game. Maybe these changes don't ship. He mentioned that this really needs to be a full game, almost as a replacement for Overwatch, not just an add-on. So, and that was good to hear, because that was one of my big concerns. Like, why do we need Overwatch 2? I was going to buy it anyway, because I'm an Overwatch fan, but it didn't seem like it was justifying itself. And it still doesn't, but I went from like 50% hype, where I was kind of indifferent, maybe 60 to 70, I would say. All right. Okay, then they talked about single-player hero missions. One thing I noticed, maybe I'm just reading too much into it, the character face on the bottom of the screen while you're playing, I saw someone named Rollins twice, which is like normally you see the character name, but it said Rollins, and it had a face I've never seen. It happened twice, but one of them, it looked like it was just Tracer abilities. Another one looked like Baptiste. So maybe they're going to be adding player icons to the bottom left, which like aesthetically changes how you look, which I think would be super cool. I never even thought about that, but they should do that as a cosmetic. Okay, weather. One of the big things about this, at least in PvE, I don't know if they're going to do in PvP, is weather. You had sandstorms in Anubis. You had like windstorms in Hanamura with all the rose petals that look kind of like Ghost of Tsushima. You had blizzards in Volskaya. You had rain. You had day and night. You had like in Nubani, the African sun setting, which like is so cool. And then they showed when you're about to start a mission, fix this light a little bit, you see like a map, and then you pick your spot, but you can decide strategically, like, oh, it's raining over here, and there's fog, so I may not want to be a sniper because it's hard for me to see. So that was interesting. Yeah, I almost kind of want them to put that in multiplayer, maybe. We'll see. Check on the map, time of day, weather. Again, they stress the developers that they're experimenting, so this is really early. And then they went to talent tree system. Single player, we kind of knew this already, but they kind of expanded it a little bit, that there's talent trees in a single player campaign. Every hero has different trees. They were showing 3 of them. I don't know if all 3 are going to be different, but they showed Mercy, like, having her power boost staff, but like able to shoot while in the air, floating. They showed, they teased the idea of Junkrat having a tech tree ability with dual wielding. Reaper potentially having sniper abilities, like really wild stuff. So that's kind of cool. And if they could even consider putting some of that into multiplayer, maybe like the abilities, not the tech tree. We don't want that. We don't want that kind of progression. Okay, is that it? They stressed the size and variety of PvE maps. I saw a lot of different environments. Jungles, like creepy, dark hallway corridors. Really big maps. They said branching dialogue even they're thinking about, which is like, what? Branching dialogue? They threw out a lot of stuff here. And I think I covered most of it, guys. The streamers, again, that were covering this, watching it, would not shut up. And like, I'm okay with people talking. Like, I don't want them to be totally silent, but geez, dude, they really. But I think I got it all. So we don't have a release date. They said don't expect this year. We'll see. All right. Final thoughts. Well, I took notes on this as well. It had slick production. There was a great set that they had. They didn't shoot it from people's homes, which was cool. There was no technical difficulties. It ran really well. It was pretty dry. There was a lot of talking. There wasn't a lot of big new announcements. You know, you had the Diablo 2 Resurrection, I think it was called. It's remaster. And the classics. What else we got? A lot of CGI, not too much gameplay, although, well, I can't count Overwatch because that wasn't in BlizzCon. By the way, I'm kind of reviewing this. If I'm reviewing it, it's going to be compared to like online events, other similar ones, like Sony had multiple ones, Microsoft I've reviewed, Sony's Nintendo Directs. So we're kind of comparing it to that, and we're not counting Overwatch 2 technically in our review because it wasn't in the BlizzCon video. They did post-show panels as well with more details, which I may take notes on. We'll see. But Overwatch 2 was one I really cared about. So if I were to review this, I'd probably give it a B-. I was thinking C+ at first, but ultimately they do have really exciting games coming up. Diablo 4, I mean, it's probably going to be awesome. People still love World of Warcraft. They freaking still pay the $15 or whatever it is a month. So that's cool. The Classics collection is really cool. A lot of people I don't think played those games because they're old like me, but they are great games, especially Lost Vikings. All the games in that series are amazing. So, they had some good stuff. Again, nice production, no technical issues. There wasn't too much filler. There really wasn't much cringe at all, relatively speaking. Yeah. So, Diablo 4. Overwatch 2 wasn't there. And some of the other stuff, like the Hearthstone stuff, didn't wow me. But, yeah, B-. WoW Classic expansion surprised the hell out of me. I didn't think they'd do that, but, alright. What are we at? 20 minutes, that's good. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think. Again, I want to hear from people who are hardcore Blizzard fans and not fans at all. Like, how do you see this show? Especially from the fans. Because, I'm kind of in the middle. And I wanted to knock them more for not having Overwatch 2 there. I was going to do that, but then when I saw the post video, which was like freaking 30, 40 minutes long, I was like, you know what? They had to keep it out of there and put it in its own video because there's a lot of stuff. And that video, I mean, for what it is, that's probably a B+. Like, you didn't get a release date and there's stuff like that. And there's stuff that may not be in the game at the end. But I'm a sucker for that deep dive situation. So thank you guys so very much for watching. Make sure to sub. Catch me out on Twitch with 2 X's, Captain Spandex. Bye.